Welcome back, listener. Mom, I did call you. You didn't answer, but I am now in the studio again with Wendy filming the next episode of Living with Purpose podcast. So, Wendy,
Hello.
good to see you.
Good to see you too. It's always so good to see you.
I
We
know,
just have good vibes. It
right?
always feels great.
It's nothing like having somebody that you can connect with. Like if you're having a bad day, just being in the same room with them just changes the whole thing.
Yeah,
And
I love it.
yeah, it's good.
You're amazing.
Oh,
I know we
you're
always do
amazing.
this. We always you're amazing. You're amazing. Well, today we're talking about joy and purpose,
Mhm.
which I think is a really important topic. What was the most joyous thing that happened to you this week? Did you have something that just lit you up happen?
I
Or
did.
what is the most joyous thing since we last recorded?
The one thing I can think of, it was just Halloween.
Yes.
And I have littles, and I had been musing the day before that I don't want to wish away time, but I am looking forward to the time when they are old enough to trick or treat by themselves. And I can just sit on the porch and hand out candy and talk to people as they come and go. Um, I did not expect that to happen this year, but it did.
It did.
The hubby took the little one. The older one went off with her friends, and I just found myself on the porch, and I thought, oh my God, it's happening.
It was like a joyous moment.
Yes, it was a
Did you
dream come
dress
true.
up? Did you dress up?
This year I did not. We have been,
Yeah.
and we've been doing family costumes, which is new for me.
Uh-huh.
I didn't do that as a kid. But this year, my husband, he got him and the little one, the K-pop Demon Hunters, and the other one went as Dolly Parton, and they totally left me out.
Dolly
So-
Parton, that's hilarious.
She did a good job too. Sometimes I get nervous because she's got a lot of ideas, but she's 11, so follow through is difficult. But
really-
she nailed it. I was really impressed.
That is hilarious. What Halloween costume that you've had in your life has been your favorite?
Ooh.
Because I think Halloween, I mean, this is a joyous topic just
It
before
is.
we really delve into it.
I mean,
but
what a great time, like dressing up and
Yeah.
being somebody different
Yeah.
and
it's fun.
letting go.
It's fun. It's play is important.
Yeah. I did RBG, Ruth
I
Bader
love
Ginsburg,
that. Of course you did.
and I did it multiple years in a row.
Of course you did. We forgot to tell people in our intro that you, Kate, are
Oh, yes. I am a political change maker.
and I am a psychic medium. So,
And that's not our Halloween costumes. That's our everyday life.
No. My favorite Halloween costume was Tanya from, I did this a few years ago, Tanya from White Lotus. Did you ever see that?
Oh, nice.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny. In one episode, she shows up and she's at reception at the hotel. She's just like, I need a psychic. I need a psychic. So I was like, I'm going to be Tanya. I hope I'm the psychic you need, Jennifer Coolidge, in real
Yes.
life.
Manifest that. Put that out there. Can I come as your assistant and take notes?
I really like her. Could you imagine?
She's amazing.
That would be a trip.
It would.
Every reading's a trip anyway. But a trip. But it's fun to dress up as a character,
It is.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So
It breaks
that's
the
great.
monotony of your routine and different synapses in your brain start
Yes.
happening.
I know, I love it.
All right.
But my most joyous thing this week,
Yes.
my brother's visiting from Europe,
Yay.
and I just miss him so much. I'm just so happy that he's here. So that was my joy for the week. And, joy when it comes to purpose, we were kind of talking about this earlier today, you and I, when we were setting up, it's really important because joy is a vibe that is high. We talk, everything's energy, right?
Yes.
And, being a spiritual person, a lot of the time I'm going to be really speaking to those things. And this is what's so fun about doing this podcast with you. It's like very logical and linear, and you'll probably speak to more of those things. But I think that's what makes it fun to take one topic and then talk about
There's lots of
perspectives,
different ways to
right?
apply it. So we're
Yeah.
just giving our audience different ways to look at it.
Yeah. So joy is a high vibe, kind of like the opposite is a low vibe. So we're all on a spectrum of, high vibes and low vibes at different times. But the more we can keep our vibe high, the more joyous our lives are going to be. And the more joyous our lives are going to be, the easier it is going to be to navigate to and through our purpose, if that makes
100%.
sense. It's going to be more fun. Your purpose is meant to be expressed in that high vibe in a good way and shared with other people.
I can almost guarantee that 99% of the population sees it backwards. They see find purpose, have joy. And
Mm-hmm.
in reality, it's
Mm-hmm.
find joy, find purpose. Right?
Yes.
Have joy, find purpose.
Yes. It reminds me of this little book that I used to carry around with me in my purse. It was Tattered and Torn. It was by an author that I really loved. She's no longer with us, named Stuart Wilde. And it was called Life Was Not Meant to Be a Struggle.
Oh,
So,
give me that.
yes, because, a lot of us, we've grown up with strugglers or we've been taught to struggle, that struggle is the way to our purpose. Struggle is the way to doing things. And having it be worth something. Oh, if we struggle so hard, if we work so hard.
Mhm.
But I venture to say, let's look at the possibility, because we know differently, that often it is quite the opposite. Like life, he was right. Life is not meant to be a struggle.
Yeah.
It's meant to be, it's not always going to be easy getting to your purpose, living with purpose, but we're meant to be in joy as we go. We're not meant to be banging our heads against the wall. Like, how much fun is that?
Right. Agreed. That's one of those things in life, like the adages, and people just swear by them.
Uh-huh.
And it's got to change. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be a struggle. If it
Yeah.
is a struggle, I mean, I think that's one of those times where whatever the saying is, God puts a wall up for a reason. Like, look at what it is
Yeah.
you're doing. Maybe you need to turn around or make a left instead of
Yeah.
continuing down the same path.
Yeah. Or wait until you know
Yeah.
which way to go. And that old Rush song, I kind of love Rush. And there's the song they have that says, you can choose not to decide, you still have made a choice.
Yes.
Like, kind of wait until you're in the right vibe before you make those next steps. I think that's really an important thing to do, and to recognize when you're not feeling the joy to do something. Like, I've been working on my taxes, right? So I'm like, well, how am I going to find joy in doing my taxes? So you think of what the end result will be, right? I
That's
mean,
good.
taxes are not my purpose. We've talked about how my purpose would not be being an accountant. You would be really good at that, imagine. But the seeing what is at the end of why you have to do something, the feeling of, oh, that's going to be great when I'm done with this.
Right.
It's going to be a really good feeling. So I might as well just have the joy in doing this and learning new things as I go.
Yeah. Checking it off your list.
Checking it off your list. But when you're really moving toward your purpose, you're going to have days where you're just, it's not going to be easy. And the most important thing is just to show up for it. The joy sometimes comes in the showing up. There is a joy in just showing up, isn't there?
I discovered that recently.
Yeah.
This was probably a year ago. I have a consulting business. Podcasting is not a full-time job. That's something I do on the side. And it's been very hard since COVID. The work is all around assertiveness, leadership, and influence for women. And what I've been finding is we were dealing with lots of shit before COVID. Right? Just the usual patriarchal bullshit.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened. And there is this new layer of garbage that I know women are having trouble dealing with. So we can't even get back to the stuff beforehand that was bad enough as it is. Nobody even has touched how to deal with this new layer of stuff. And it's showing up in my work because it's harder to get women there. The material is almost harder to grasp because they're like, well, that would be lovely if I could be more assertive in the workplace. But I have to get through this other slosh first. So I had an event, 25 people registered, and 3 people showed up. And one person was the woman that was letting me use her space. So she had to be there. And then the other 2 ladies were coaches that I know that I've worked with before. And I did try to live in the whoever's supposed to be there will be there, and everything happens for a reason. And I got to say, that was probably rock bottom for me. I get everything cleaned up. The other ladies go home. I head to my car and I cried. I just cried harder than I'd ever cried, I think, before, or at least in the last year. And it was cathartic. But at that point, I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I drive home. It's bedtime. We do our routine. And I walk in the door, and my husband, he looks at me and he wants me to tell him about my day. And I was like, don't ask. I just want to put the kids to bed. I don't want to talk about it. We get everybody to bed. do the things that you have to do when you have children at night. And then we're in bed. He rolled over and he's like, I'm really scared that you won't tell me what happened. I'm worried about you. And so I flopped like a dead fish over on my other side. And I was just like, okay, here it is. And I just let it all out. And then I cried again. But I was like, look, I feel like I'm failing as a mother, as a business owner, as a wife. I feel like I've lost my value and my way, and I'm really struggling. And so he was shocked by all this because it just doesn't dawn on him, right? that these things are happening.
And
so,
that's not usually a state that you're in.
Right.
So this would have been a fairly new experience for him to see you in a rock bottom moment.
Yeah. And to my pleasant surprise, he was just so genuinely kind and caring in that moment and showed up for me in a way that I hadn't expected. And he said, whatever you need to do, I need you to do that for the next few weeks. You find yourself, you get right with what you need to do.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. He was very scared because that's, we've been together 25 years and that was first for both of us, for me to be in that spot. Yeah. And it was in that time, that 2 weeks, I did take 2 weeks, and I would take the kids to school. I would come home, and in reading books and looking online and trying to figure out, what the fuck am I going to do? How do I get through this? I did decide I'm going to write a book. So instead of, are you there, God, it's me, Margaret, it's, hi, it's Kate. Is this rock bottom? Can this be the end, please? But the adage is you can only control what you can control, right? So I started trying to find moments of joy because I knew that the way I was feeling was not how I wanted to feel ever again, really. And you can't just, it's work. So I thought, okay, what are some things that I know that I found joy in before? And let's focus on that. I started thinking about time with the kids. All right, let's make whatever we're doing, we're just going to have fun. We're going to kind of throw out routine to some extent. You want to eat cookies in the bath? Sure. Whatever. Laying on the couch and not feeling guilty about it. Maybe I'm going to watch a show when I get home and I drop them off. Maybe I'm going to go back to bed.
But you allowed yourself this space.
Yes.
Of not, it's interesting the way energy works. It's like, it's a space of just allowing, right? It's allowing, I say sometimes like it's allowing the downloads from the universe, or, I say God, you say universe. Same thing. It's like we need this space. It's often it's not when we're pushing that these things happen. It's when we lean back. It's a very counterintuitive feeling, especially if you're type A or you're somebody who has struggled or does strive.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we don't lean into what it is that we want to, but it's really important to know when to lean back to and just allow space around us, because then the new stuff comes in. We learn as much from what doesn't work and what didn't work as we do from what does. And it's a really important thing to remember. So here you are, you're in this space, right? And I just wanted to say too, that I think part of the purpose of that happening was not just so you could see, okay, there are some things I might want to tweak career-wise. And that wasn't really all on you, to be fair, right? Because there were people that had promised to be there and things, and that's on them. But what happened was you saw your husband show up in a way that you hadn't before. And so sometimes you think that you're showing up for one thing and it turns out to be really profound about something else, which was how important it was for you to see that you needed to give yourself permission for this time. He was giving you permission for this time.
Yeah.
And that was huge.
Right? Yeah, a very big deal.
Yeah.
That's something we can talk about in another podcast too. Yeah. Like, women are waiting for permission for a lot of things, and we should just do things. So.
Yes. Okay.
But, in those, the downloads, I totally agree with that. And a lot of times meditation always comes up for me. Like you find that quiet space and be in the moment. And yes, you listener, you can meditate. People think, oh, I can't do it because thoughts keep coming in. Yeah, that's part of it. It's okay. That's normal. But for me, moving my body was a big part of how to get those messages too. And just taking care of myself, finding joy in my kids' sassiness.
Yeah.
I hopefully will survive them because they will be incredible adults when they get there with the skills that they have. But what ended up happening ultimately was I took a detour, and made a soft turn away from business and toward politics, and realized that's another way to be a role model for women, to help create some positive change around policies that will move us forward, move us in the right direction.
Yeah. This moment where people weren't showing up for that thing is such a blessing.
Yeah.
Because tell everybody what's happening tomorrow. Like what this led to was tell everybody what's happening tomorrow.
It all led to a run for the mayor. I had been on the school board for several years, and I was loving that. I was the president of the school board for 2 of the 3 years I was on. I knew that our current mayor wasn't going to run again. There was no possibility of anybody currently on council running, which would be the next plausible people to do it. And it was just like the universe tapped me on the shoulder and was like, what are you doing? You have the skills to do this.
Yes.
And
yes.
what an amazing way to support your community and show up for not only all of the people in the community, but, be a role model for my girls and women in general. So
I think
I did it.
Yeah. And I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you to just stand up and just keep going, right? It's like one foot in front of the other. And I also want to say my experience with purpose is that a lot of the time, right before your purpose becomes crystal clear in terms of your career or the next thing you want to do to share with the world that's going to feel very meaningful for you, or maybe not be ready to share yet with the world. But I would say every single time there's something like that happens that just knocks you off your feet and you think, well, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
Like what you said, like what, that happens every single time where you're just at a loss and you almost can't do anything else but get still and just be in it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
But I love what the Course in Miracles says. We have a lot of pain in our lives. It'll say, look at the crucifixion, meaning the pain in our lives. Do not dwell there, for there's always a resurrection. I love what it says that was this way, that we're meant to not just sit and dwell in what didn't work.
Yeah.
We are meant to find our way back to joy so that we can truly live our purpose. But sometimes, almost all the time, right before you get to that joyful aha, I'm going to go into politics. I've always been psychic. Why aren't I doing this every day? I'm doing it every day anyway. Why aren't I sharing this with the world, right? Something happens. There was a year where I was working in advertising. I was in between going through a divorce, and my daughter was young. And I always knew that I was psychic, and it wasn't always honored in our household. And I really felt like I had to choose between my purpose and living it and helping other people, or what he wanted me to do.
Yeah.
Like we're still, we've come a long way, baby, but we're still doing this. But that was 20 years ago, and I've really come a long way since then. But at that time, there was a year where I was working. I just was working in advertising just to get back on my feet. And I hadn't yet opened my business, but I did within that year. I was doing readings anyway. It was over 20 years ago, like I said. And I was rocking it in advertising, so much so that they were sending me to Mexico. I started thinking, you got to be really careful what you're good at too. Like, right?
That's
like,
true.
oh, here's this 5-star resort. You had the most sales for whatever. This is great. By the next year, I was exhausted. They were trying to pull blood from a stone, and I got fired.
Oh my
Which is exactly what was supposed to happen.
Yes.
Thank you, God,
Mm-hmm.
that happened, because that forced me into that stillness that you were just talking about experiencing. Those few weeks where you're just like, well, now what?
Yeah.
Embrace those times.
Mm-hmm.
Embrace those times, because that was exactly what needed to happen for me too. I went downtown. I rented an office. I didn't tell anybody what I was going to do. I just decided, this is what I'm going to do. Within 2 weeks, I had left the corporate sphere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing the work that I was meant to do. I was living my purpose. It had begun. So the message is to not fear those times where you hit a wall. A lot of the time, what you think you're going to do. A lot of the time, you're redirected. You're meant to find this other place or branch of a tree, or however you want to see it. Because what you were doing, what you were leaning toward, was somewhat related to what running for mayor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I was always reading people anyway and having psychic experiences and mediumship experiences. But something at that time was saying, well, this is the logical thing. You just stay in this. And God came in and gave me a big wake-up call. Thank God. Because could I have thrived in advertising? Yeah, okay. But that wasn't feeling purposeful to me.
Right.
So I was immediately redirected in the quiet. To speak to what you said earlier, it's hard for people to sometimes just become quiet, but that is the answer. It's counterintuitive. You think you have to work harder, struggle, going back to that idea. It's actually the opposite that gets you there.
It makes me think of when you're trying to think of a word and you continue to try to think of the word if it doesn't come, but as soon as you think about something else, you're like, oh, yes.
Yeah, that's it. There it is.
Doppelganger, whatever it is. That's so true. The more I tried to think about, what do I do for the business and how do I change it? Do I need to focus on a different aspect?
Right.
It just, everything kept getting tighter.
Right.
And
right.
So I was just like, okay, I'm going to stop thinking about it altogether.
There's something about that leaning back, that release. It is just as important to go through those moments where you show up and you enjoy and you're going to do this thing, okay, it doesn't work out. But you're being redirected to a greater joy. So it's just like listening and allowing that space. If you keep banging your head against the wall, we were talking about that struggle, you're likely to get more struggle.
You're just going to have a headache.
You're just going to have a really big headache. and it's your choice as to how long that headache's going to go on. Wasn't there a saying? There was some author that said, I banged my head against the wall so long because it just felt good when I stopped or something. There's no need for that. You catch yourself in the struggle. I think one of the key things to getting back to the joy is to allow yourself to just take a beat.
Yeah.
For some people, it's going to be a few weeks. For some people, it's going to be a year.
Yeah.
But to however long it takes, there's no timeline, right? In the evolution of your soul, there's no timeline. So however long it takes for you to have clarity, take the time. The showing up is always going to give you a sense of joy.
Yeah.
The showing up, but wait until you know. Just wait. You're still making a choice. I remember being in this lecture once, and this guy, he was an actor, and the lecture was in LA, and he had felt pressure to take a role. He always wanted to work for Spielberg. It was this big actor, but he just didn't believe it was really going to happen. It wasn't happening fast enough. So he took this role under contract for a different movie, and then this director calls him. Oh. Right? So you will get redirected. My hope is that he ended up working. Anyway, but either way, there's a lesson there for him, for us, all the time, when to not move too fast and not move too slow. You're going to kind of know when you need to step forward if you're in the meditation, if you're in the quiet. If you're not and you're still banging your head against the wall, that won't happen.
Right. It's not easy. It's so hard.
Sometimes it's really hard. Yeah, the idea of it is easy, but when you're in it, it's really hard because you're just thinking, I've got to put food on the table. I've got to have money. I've got bills, right? Yeah. But when we're talking about your purpose, once it's there, it's like that saying, follow your bliss, the money will come. That's really true.
I agree.
It's really true.
I think sometimes people don't take the time for themselves because it feels selfish, because they see selfish as something bad. In actuality, there's nothing wrong with being selfish, because if you're not taking care of yourself, who is?
I think it's necessary.
Absolutely.
And is that really a selfishness? I think that's a label that's been put on a lot of us, but it's necessary. It's necessary to give yourself that time.
100%.
To either allow and keep the dream alive. There's something about loving the dream as you're searching for it, right? Like love the dream, love the daydreaming, love it. Again, the joy is in the higher vibe. The higher vibe will bring you to the joy. The contrast, as Abraham Hicks might talk about when we talk about manifesting, like the contrast is not being in joy. So raising the vibe will take you to a joyous state. Yeah. If you're a problem solver, you're often looking at what's not working, right? You have to remember to flip the coin and let's talk about everything that is working too. Because problem solvers by nature can get really super heady. Yes. You're in my head all the time. Yeah. Yeah.
We've talked about this before. My therapist says I'm too logical. That is my problem. That is where all my stress comes from.
Well, you're problem solving a lot of the time, right? Just remembering to like flip that coin and say, okay, let's look at what is working too, because that will bring you into a state of greater joy. Your state of greater joy is where you're going to be most purposeful.
I think the conversation around joy has a bigger purpose at this point too. If you look at the world that's on fire around us, but in order for us to move through the ick that we're currently in, like the resistance has to thrive, and we do that by being joyful, even in
the midst of difficult things.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that we're ignoring it or we don't care. It just means you have to make sure that you have some kind of joy in your life so that you can keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Yeah, so that you can keep going and see change. It's really easy to get into, oh my God, how is this ever going to change? How are we ever going to do this? But it is important to just keep yourself in a good place that you can come to the table, so to speak.
Absolutely.
With a bright mind.
Well, what's going to bring you joy until we meet again? What do you have planned?
I picked an angel card today out of my little bowl before I left the house. It said harmony.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So I've been thinking a lot about harmony. That's a really nice vibe to be into. What brings me joy is, I think, being really aware of the present moment. The Buddhist idea, and I'll often say this with my clients, that they say that our attachment is our suffering. So a lot of us attach to the past, will attach to the future, but it's really just this current moment that we have. I want to find so much in this current moment that is joyous, like this moment where I just look at you and you're smiling and we're able to do this. This is a really joyous moment, just staying in the present. I don't know if I'm going to have another moment from this moment.
I love that.
So
that's true insight right there. You heard it here.
Joy.
Living with Purpose podcast. She just nailed it.
And so that's more esoteric way of looking at it. So if I were to ask you that same question, what would you say?
I mean, same, just whatever happens. I just saw my 6-year-old. It's a no school day, so they had to come to work with me. And even though it's November 3rd, one's in a leotard. The other one's in shorts and a tank top.
Really bright and sparkly, too.
Very sparkly.
She walked in, I was like, hey, Sparkles. Hello, fabulous.
She likes to make an entrance.
I love it. I love it. Can you imagine if we dressed up like that and came in today? Like, that would have been fantastic.
Let's do that. That's going to be, we're going to have to do an episode about being sparkly.
Yeah, we could have just said we're in purple and blue and pink like leotard right now. Sparkles all over them.
Shiny heels, the whole nine. When you said harmony, I immediately thought karaoke. That's what that is. That says Wendy and Kate should go karaoke. Then we can wear sparkles and leotards.
Do you do karaoke?
Oh my God, yes.
What is your go-to?
Always Share.
Ah, yes. Talk about joy.
Right?
Okay, what's the song?
Do you believe in love? Or
is there a more joyous song by Cher? No.
I don't think so.
Nope.
Or Turn Back Time is always good too. But I don't want to live in the past. But
I only did karaoke one.
I can harmonize with her.
I did. Somebody signed me up for from Greece.
Oh, okay.
Summer lovin'. I was not prepared. My boyfriend at the time, we did that. And that was fun, and it was joyous.
Good. All right. So it wasn't the end of the relationship. You're like, oh.
I kind of have, no, it was fun. But in my mind, I was think Lita Ford, Kiss Me Deadly, which is...
Oh, that's a good one.
Do you know this one?
Yes. It's playing in my head right now. We have to see if we can get the rights, and maybe we can play it on the... It can play us out on this episode.
I'll probably never do that. Actually.
No.
That song. Or karaoke ever, honestly.
Ever?
But I love to watch it.
Okay. Well, you can come watch us. The girls love it. I take the girls.
Really?
We go to Blue Karaoke.
Really?
In Ann Arbor. I plug you for that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all about
fun. I would love to watch it. That would be great.
Oh, Well, listener, thanks for being with us today. Wendy, as always, it is a pleasure. Keep finding the joy.
Yes.
Keep singing the songs. Keep wearing the sparkly heels.
Right back at you.
All right. Until
All
next
right.
time.
Until next time.
All right.